What a wonderful, mild, pleasant weekend we're enjoying along the Gulf Coast. Enough of the rain and the freezing temps. I'm enjoying getting outside. I wish we were outside right now, but we're inside our WHBR studios, and of course, that's a blessed place to be always. Well, listen, you're going to be blessed by tonight's program. We're going to take you out to the country, out to Walnut Hill, where the monthly men's barn meeting outreach takes place. Jim Porter has been spearheading this ministry for a long time, and what a phenomenal outreach it is, providing steaks to men as a tool and a hook to get them in to hear a powerful message and testimony. And that is what's going to happen tonight. You're going to see highlights of this amazing outreach. You don't want to miss that. Plus, we have an incredible story, and you talk about a powerful testimony. Ashley Smith has just been ravaged in her earlier years by sex trafficking, and we've been bringing you attention to this evil and plague in our society, human trafficking, and you're going to hear the overcoming story of this young woman and how the transforming grace and power of God's love and mercy has been to her life, and it's a story you don't want to miss. It's all happening right here on tonight's Coast Up Close.
Hi, I'm Ashley, and I'm a survivor of human trafficking. I'm the daughter of two wonderful, loving parents. My father was in the Air Force, and I grew up just like a lot of kids grow up. When I was in the 8th grade, my family, we made a move to Alabama, and during that year, I went to a party, and first time ever getting drunk, and while I was at the party, I was raped. And that rape really just changed the course of my life. I started isolating myself from my parents and self-mutilating by, binge eating and vomiting. I became bulimic almost immediately. Partying, drinking, and drugs became a regular part of my life. I was just running as fast as I could, trying to escape this pain that I did not even realize was there. I was introduced to some people who were drug dealers, and so they befriended me, got to know me. Before I knew it, invited me over to their house. One night, the man who was kind of the ringleader was in town from Miami. The woman and the man, they raped me, and that was my introduction to working for them. Basically, they would take me on drug runs, introduce me to people, ask how much they would give for me, and basically the goal was you had to bring your money back to the family. And so several times, I was beaten, and in particular times, I was dragged out of bed and beaten, and as soon as I saw her leave the house, I ran to my car, drove as fast as I could. God really opened the door for me to get out of there. Almost immediately, I was sleeping on a friend's couch, and he had a friend who worked for an escort agency in Destin. For a short time, I worked for a couple of agencies. One night, I went out to a club, and after the club, I went to a Waffle House. As I walked in, there were 6 men standing in the back. They invited me back to their hotel room, and in their hotel room, they gang raped me and argued over who would be my pimp, essentially who would be my trafficker, and took me to Atlanta to pimp me. It was like I was a revolving door. I really don't know even how to describe the number of times that I was raped by people that they knew, as I started having crazy panic attacks, major nightmares. A situation happened where I stole something from the person that I lived with, and she proceeded to beat me almost to death. And I had a split second to run out of the house. And the neighbors called the police, and the police came. And so when they came in, really, the officer looked at me, and really without asking me any questions, the first thing he said to me was, "She's nothing but a crack whore." So really at that time, that'd been something I'd come to believe about myself. I really had no need to argue with him. And then one in particular night, I was in an argument with somebody who I'd been involved with, and I looked at him and I just said, "I need Jesus." And I really meant it with all of my heart. And my life did not immediately change, but when I woke up the next day, doors all around me were closing. And then one night, I knew I was feeling off. I knew I was feeling sick. That night, I found out I was pregnant. I called my mom, and my mom's response to me was "I've been waiting to hear that you're dead, that you're in prison, or that you're pregnant. I'm really glad you're pregnant. Do you want to come home?" And really that invitation to come home, it really started like an incredible rescue and redeeming process for me. It was really hard. The first couple of months being pregnant, I'd had nightmares every night, terrible nightmares. And this in particular night, I didn't have a nightmare. I just woke up and I just knew I always felt this evil presence lurking with me. But this in particular night, I didn't feel it. And as I woke up, I just looked up and I just said, okay, I'm done. Like, I'm done running. And I need you, Jesus, come into my heart. And he came and he met me in that place, and and my life immediately changed. I went through immense healing. No more anxiety, no more depression, to help other women know that there's always hope, that there's no situation that is hopeless. And really that's like my life mission now, because we know that full freedom, complete restoration and redemption is possible with Jesus. My name is Ashley, and this is my redemption story.
Seems like all I could see was the struggle, haunted by ghosts that lived in my past, bound up in shackles of all my failures, wondering how long is this gonna last. Then you look at this prisoner and say to me, son, stop fighting a fight it's already been won. And I am redeemed. You set me free. So I'll shake off these heavy chains and wipe away every stain. That I'm not who I used to be. I am redeemed. I'm redeemed. All my life I have been called unworthy, named by the voice of my shame and regret. But when I hear you whisper, child, lift up your head, I remember, oh God, you're not done with me yet. And I am redeemed. You set me free. So I'll shake off these heavy chains and wipe away every stain. Now I'm not who I used to be, because I don't have to be the old man inside of me, 'cause his day is long dead and gone. Because I've got a new name, a new life, I'm not the same, and a hope that will carry me home. I am redeemed. You set me free. So I'll shake off these heavy chains and wipe away every stain, 'cause I'm not who I used to be. I am redeemed. God redeemed.
Ah, what a powerful song that is. I am redeemed, and how perfect that is coming after that amazing story with Ashley. And I tell you, I just appreciate her bravery for sharing that with our audience here on WHBR. Well, listen, coming up next, we're taking you out to the country to Walnut Hill for the monthly men's barn meeting. Highlights are right now.
I'm the former keyboard player from the group Confederate Railroad, and we sold 6 million records in country music. Went to the Grammy Awards based on a song called "I Like My Women on the Trashy Side," and I ended up with a $70,000 a year drug addiction and crashed and burned, and Jesus changed my life. I've been walking with him for 18 years. I've become a worship leader, evangelist, and I came to this barn meeting for the first time in 2009 here in Molina, Florida, and I thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen in my life. When I was younger, I went to a place called the Chicken House where our local area got together and had good, clean fun, and that's what I saw here. And I want to tell you something that I found out. If you get the dad, you get the family. And they're all about going after the men of this area, each one reach one. And when you do that, you see families change.
You know what? I love bringing my boys out with me when we come. And in our church, we actually ride out on the bus with the men from the Waterfront Rescue Mission. I just think it's great. It's a great place for the men. Each one of the guys that comes out, I know that it touches their heart in a different way each time that they come out.
Well, we have a monthly barn meeting. We're in a barn right now on the side of the lake in the woods and 25 miles out of Pensacola. And once a month, we've been doing it for 15 and a half years. We have a beautiful free steak dinner for the guys, men and boys. That's called the Men's Barn Meeting. And we bring in guest speakers from all over the country. And we have guest musicians. Tonight, our group is from Tennessee, Chattanooga area, that part of Georgia right next to Chattanooga, and they're a fantastic group, so we're looking forward to their music specials. And then we have Chad Denton is our speaker tonight, and he's going to share his story of a miraculous change in his life when he was a hopeless drug addict. Amazing story. But the Lord is blessed. We usually run 350 to 400 men. And we first start off with that steak dinner, and they all like that. And then there's a lot of good fellowship here. And it's not just one church. This is a ministry. It's an outreach, and many churches consider it their outreach ministry for their men's group. And so we see many church vans that come and bring their men, and then they invite their neighbors and friends and co-workers, perhaps people who haven't been churched or don't go to church. And they invite them to come out and have a steak dinner in a non-threatening, it's come as you are, very casual, and we have a good time.
I come here to experience the miracle of what happens here every single month. The porters have done something amazing, and just to be able to help out in some small way. I bring my son, we help serve, and I want him to see what it's like to simply give of yourself so that the gospel can be spread. And it's a really big part. I brought my father here, my father-in-law. I bring church members here, and I love bringing my son here every single month.
Share some of that with y'all, but after that, just Holy Spirit-wise, I'm going to sort of get right into it. Because my real purpose...
Well, I'm here to encourage others and support the ministry. I try to make it every week. This will be my last one I can attend for a while with a new career, but I like to be able to pray with people that need it, and share the word and encourage others that need it.
We try to bring in some of the best speakers, some of the best music that we can possibly get to help us share the gospel. These men come from all walks of life, and you watch men come through these doors one way and they leave another way, hopefully going home to be better men and better husbands for their families and to be better fathers.
Oh
many of them, not only do they take home a good message, but they take home a good message of hope. But even more importantly, if you're here and you'll watch, many souls get saved here. Every time I've been here, there's always been a clear presentation of God's gospel, and men still respond to it.
I'm in Pathways for Change also. I've been in the program since July, and I've heard a lot of great things about this barn meeting from other people in the program, and I'm just excited. This is my first time.
Two in Pathways for Change with the guys. Just spend a little time with the guys, hang out, have a good time.
Just coming out here to fellowship, eat some good steak. I heard about it through Pathways for Change. Really, I just go home with a good message, and I just take what they say and try to use it throughout the days, all my days.
What a powerful name it is, the name of Jesus. What a powerful name it is, the name of Jesus.
My name is Chad Denton. I'm from Ottawa, Tennessee, and I did say Ottawa. We don't say Ooltawa in Tennessee. Matter of fact, it's better known as Hooterville in Tennessee. We were the Mighty Owls. I played football there. I know I don't look like a linebacker, but I used to be a good one. Used to be a good middle linebacker. And I'm a has-been 42-year-old now. And God, I grew up. I didn't have a real dad in my life. And man, I'll tell you, having that dad hole is huge. Some of you guys here, you're too tough to admit it, but let me tell you something. You've got a hole there that you need a godly man to fill. And you can look at me tough and rough. Trust me, I know. I know. I get it. And man, God just brought so many people in my life growing up, but I hated church. I hated because I associated church with my dad and the pastor of that church, and it crumbled. And I had an issue there because I felt a father couldn't be trusted. That's how I felt. And my view of God became the same way.
Chris McDaniel had invited me to come out and share my testimony. I actually have a two-phase testimony, the testimony before Christ and the testimony after Christ. Today we heard about both of my testimony, both sides of the testimony where he set me free from meth addiction in Appleton, Tennessee, and then the second part where I had become a pastor, a very prideful one, and he set me free from an alcohol addiction of 3 years.
It's nasty in that place, but boy, it was in that place. I can't have those on. Man, I'm not one of these big name preachers that's too big to let God be God.
Yeah.
And hey, listen to me. I'm telling you, I'm just going to follow Jesus. Man, in that bathroom, there was no choir, there was no preacher, but there was the Holy Spirit of God. There was no light that came down. There was no supernatural nothing but a filthy room with a filthy person in it. But the holy, righteous, sinless Spirit of God broke through the drums, broke through the ceiling.
My goal was the same goal I have when I preach. If lost people are, when I say lost, those who don't know Jesus Christ, or those who have a facade or some type of veneer of Christ that really don't know Him, it's a false hope. And if they don't know Him, my initial reasons for coming is that they come to know Christ in a relationship, not just religion. The second phase of that is for Christians to really come clean with God, to take off the mask, to step out of denial, that regardless of your position, regardless of what you think people are, how you think people are going to respond if you do come clean. Being right with Him is ultimately worth more than anything in the world, regardless of what you think will happen. The response it's in God's hands. The response will always be better than you think. Don't believe the lie Satan tells you.
I was swallowed. Some of y'all probably don't know, who is that idiot up there screaming? I'm having a time in the Lord. See, because I've already had a time with the Lord this morning before I ever got here. Man, I want to tell you, that bathroom floor, God got a hold of me and I stood up. I don't remember a whole lot before the bathroom experience, but man, He took somebody messed up, and I can remember every step of the way from that point forward. I remember everything from that night. I even pulled up an old weather report, because I remember a tree being down somewhere, and I said, I guarantee you there was power outages in Atchison, Tennessee, and boy, it was. It was pouring down rain that night. I remember walking out of that bathroom, and they were looking at me. I was wiping my eyes. I said, guys, y'all probably aren't going to see me anymore. They said, what? No, look, I've had 2 ODs before this. They said, no, don't do that. Hey, man, just hang out.
I think it was Abraham Lincoln that said, you can fool everybody some of the time, all the people some of the time, some of the people all the time, but you can't fool everybody all the time. And you can't fool God at any time. Believe this, they know more than you think. Your spouse, if you're struggling, knows more than you think. Your kids know more than you give them credit for. One of the things that I would share with a man is the wisdom, the best wisdom I can give is, if you're struggling, just come clean. The quicker you come clean, the easier it'll be on you. The longer you hold on, the harder it's going to be to turn loose, because that time frame brings more guilt. And if I could do things over, I would have came clean much sooner. But being transparent with your spouse, being transparent with your kids, I believe that brings spiritual strength in your home.
It's run by about 30 volunteers. We have teams, a setup team and a cooking team. We have a cleanup team. We have a music team. We have a parking lot and landscaping group, and everybody pitches in. Nobody gets paid a dime. It's a layman's ministry run by laymen, and many people like to get involved, and it's just been a wonderful blessing. The Lord has blessed it. We're certainly appreciative of all the good things and the way He's provided for it, because we do not take up a collection. We have a donation box, and some of the regulars feel like they want to help us on a monthly basis, and so we do have a donation box, but there's no collection taken. We don't want our first-time visitors to donate anything, because they're our guests, and we just say come back and bring a friend.
Wow, I told you would be so impressed and amazed by the men's barn meeting outreach. And thank you, Jim Porter, for doing this monthly outreach. And we just pray that God give you increased favor and provision for these monthly meetings and these speakers that you line up. Chad Denton here this week sharing his testimony. Wow, that was awesome indeed. And of course, the amazing, powerful story of Ashley Smith earlier with her overcoming story of how that God had just redeemed her life from such the pit that she was in. And I tell you what a story of redemption that is. And His grace and mercy is available to all of us. And we all have a testimony and something powerful to share. And no matter how trivial we think our story is, believe me, there are people around us that need to hear it. So let's be open to those opportunities. Well, listen, have a blessed week, everybody. Have a good time in Him. That's what we'll be doing. And you'll see us next week right here on WHBR.